Good morning. Glad you are right there watching this whenever you are. Hey, you know I've been reading Book of Mysteries by Jonathan Cahn. I got a copy of it for my wife Heidi as well. I'm a little bit ahead because some days I read two, and so yeah, I'm a little bit ahead. And the other day I just said, wow, the one that I read I thought was really, really cool. And so Isaiah 53. Isaiah 53 is one of those Old Testament passages that sheds light on who Jesus is that even the New Covenant doesn't give us, which is absolutely fascinating. But you know, God's outside of time, so he can do it. And I love Jesus of Nazareth by the one that came out in like 76 or 77. It was right around the time that I was coming to Christ, Franco Zeffirelli's like 6.5-hour masterpiece. And in it, he has Nicodemus quoting Isaiah 53 as he is watching Jesus be crucified. And it's like the lights are going on. So, you got your teacher, you got your students, they go down to the Chamber of Scrolls, and they unroll the scroll for Isaiah 53. And the student says, I'd like you to translate it to me, literally what it says. So the teacher began reading Isaiah's prophecy about the Messiah who dies for the sins of others. For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, he said. In the Hebrew, it's the student says, wait a minute, it's written in the future tense? He said, it is. And so then the student's like, okay, read more. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And the student says, wait a minute, now what tense was that? And the teacher says, that's the present tense. Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Now, you're familiar probably, many of you, with all these verses I'm reading here from Isaiah 53. But then he says, what tense is that? That's the past tense. And the student says, well, how can that be? That doesn't make any sense. It was a prophecy written before the events took place. How could it be written in the past tense as if it's already happened before it happened? And how can the same event be written in all three tenses, in the past, present, and future? That's a good question. The teacher says, it is an event of God's redemption, an event in which are contained the past, the present, and the future. Every moment of every sin in the past tense, as if it covers all the sins of the past, which it does. And after reading this, on Sunday, I preached about Adam and Eve and their sin, and I realized in a fresh and a new way that the death of Jesus covered that sin. It covered the original sin. It took out original sin. It's a pretty cool thought. In the present tense, as if it covers every present sin, and in the future tense, as it covers all sin that is not yet, but which will be. Messiah's death and redemption is the event of all times, of past, present, and future. That no sin and no event is beyond its power to touch and redeem. For the love of God is not bound by time. It is time that is bound by the love of God. What happened 2,000 years ago on an execution stake in the land of Judea, oh, it's a mystery. The day and time of timelessness, and yet containing all time and times in the love of God. I hope you get half as much out of that as I did. God has got your past covered. He is with you today. He is redeeming you today. And there is nothing coming down the pike that won't be under the redemption and the power of God. God bless you. Have a great day.